and we just float in the universe. We're nothing. We don't mean anything. Like, dude, you try to tell me my life isn't anything. You're gonna tell me that my mother did not close her tube. The doctor did not let her close her tube, and a month later she is impregnated with me. I don't think that's a coincidence, dude. I think we're.
No, no. I after I had Tito, I decided not to have more kids. And 8 years later, and the doctor said no, no, no. I went to a second doctor. The doctor said no, and 8 years later, Louis came.
Okay, so it wasn't a day later.
It was not a month later.
It wasn't a month later. Whatever. I just for the sake of the story. You know, and again, everything is meaningless essentially. It says there's a book in the Bible written by the wisest man on earth, Solomon, called Ecclesiastes, and the first verse of that book is everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Like, what do you mean everything is meaningless? What does that even mean? I don't even know what I'm saying that. Like, I know what I'm saying, but I don't even know what I'm saying that everything is meaningless. And that's the truth of the matter. Everything is meaningless. You get me? What clothes you wear now, what friends you have now, like what you do now, like whether you smoking pot or you're like, a rich, successful businessman, you have millions of companies. That's all meaningless. That's all meaningless. Because you don't die in heaven, you're like, oh, I still got my companies? Alright, great. This is what I work for. Get out. I got my companies and in heaven companies. Or like with your degree. That's not to say that you don't go and get a degree and do something with your life. But we forget as people the essence of being human is that our lives doesn't belong to us. That our lives belong, and I'm going to sound crazy, but it's the truth. They belong to God. God gave us life. Why wouldn't He be the rightful owner? Why isn't He the one that we listen to? Right? People tell you, oh, you should go to church. You should follow what the Bible says. Have you ever read the Bible? Who here has not read the Bible? Or any part of the Bible? Don't be ashamed. It's cool. It's straight. It's straight. In the Bible, people like read it, when you actually read it, and everything that it says, technically, is correct. Not as far as, the things that you do. Like you shouldn't adulter. Why shouldn't you adulter? Even if you don't believe in God, why shouldn't you adulter? It's messed up. You don't do that. Just what says the Bible says it, you get me? Why shouldn't you steal from people? That's not cool either. Like, you get me? And if people are like, oh, they take it out of context, be like, oh, the Bible is a book of morals. It's a book of stories, just to scare you and stuff. It's the truth. It's the truth. You honestly, if you live your life by the Bible, there's nothing really tainted about you. It says that's lust. Imagine I'm walking with Donnie on the street. I'm looking at the girl and saying, you get me? Like, she doesn't know it. She's like, But in your heart, you do that. You do that, and you let it go, and then you do it 3,000 other times. You're on Facebook and the girl, it's the truth. It's the truth. Every guy who has Facebook, you tell me it's not true. Exactly. And there's Facebook. and why is that wrong? Because would you tell Dania, yo? By the way, babe, I was on Facebook today. So many hot girls. I would break her heart. If she told me that, I would rage. I would cry. I'd probably cry. I'm not tough. I would cry. Right? But no. The Bible is a book of morals. It's just like a guideline, like for morality. And it's it's not. You get me? And I think my biggest testimony is myself. Very, very arrogant and prideful, but I mean that with the humblest opinion. I never thought that I would come back to the church. You get me? You never think that for a second that your life is worth it. You get me? There's days that you're alone and you're like, man, like, what's the point of life? Seriously. And then when you ask yourself, you kind of bad trip yourself, and you're like, I'm just not talking about it. It's for what? For I'm going to enjoy life, whatever. You're going to ignore it? What is the point of life? Seriously, tell me what the point of life is. If someone can give me like an accurate, logical decree of what the point of life is, and it makes sense in all angles, by all means, go ahead and do it. Prove me wrong. Prove Jesus wrong. You get me? And it's like, it's not a matter of I don't want to do this because it's a choice. It's like you do have a choice, but you don't have a choice. Because one day you're going to be held accountable. One day you're going to be in front of God. God's like, yo, you did this, this, and that, and you never knew my son. You never knew Christ. You get me? I can't let you in.